Hey there everybody, Trudy here, One Grounded Angel, reading some angel cards for you for the week starting March the 8th through to the 14th, 2021. Now I must apologise first of all, I'm just getting over a bit of a cold, not COVID, you'll be pleased to know, but my voice is going to get a little bit croaky at times, but hopefully not so much that it will affect the reading, I'm quite sure. So I'm shuffling now for Monday the 8th. We have a card here called Flexible, which looks quite familiar to me. I'm sure we've seen it. I mean, all the days blur into one, don't they? But at least this year, I love the illustrations on these cards. And sometimes this card is around being physically flexible. Maybe you're needing to do more yoga or something that's stretching your body, something to keep it more limber and active, keeping your joints moving. But for a lot of us, this is more about mental and emotional flexibility. Being flexible in our mindset, not being too rigid in our thoughts and our expectations and our processes, not hanging on too tightly to old routines, being willing to see things from a different point of view and try new things rather than clinging on to the old for the sake of safety or imagined safety in a lot of cases. So pretty straightforward there, the flexibility. That's Monday, and shuffling now for Tuesday. Let your past go. I love the gold on this card, and the ring light I use for this video gives it a nice little halo there. So it's pretty straightforward, this message, just about what we're holding on to from the past that we need to let go of. And absolutely everybody has something. I've never met a single person who doesn't, even the people who say they don't. So this could be around emotions around a specific event, or it could be around something you've taken on board as a result of an event. So for example, in the case of a painful breakup, it could be resentment, so the emotion, or it could be maybe that you think you've moved on from the breakup, but you're carrying something as a result of it. Maybe a fear of trusting people, a fear of getting hurt again. These are just examples, of course. But so it's not just about the event, but it can be what lessons or beliefs you might have absorbed into your energy as a result of the event. You may not even be aware of them at a conscious level. Remember, there can be a disconnect between what we know up here and what our energy actually believes, which is why we sometimes act in ways that don't align with what we say and what we truly believe on a mental level, which is why, you know, sometimes people can feel that they have pretty good levels of self-worth and self-esteem, but yet they act in ways that show that maybe they don't. There's something going on in their subconscious. I work very much in the energy realm, so I'm all about that subconscious stuff, which is so important. So something from the past needs to be let go of. And of course, as a Scorpio, I must draw your attention to the fact it could be a past life. Some past life stuff. I'm not a past life regression therapist. I can't delve into that with you, but the work I do does clear what we've taken on from past lives, and I don't know what it is. But of course, if you are interested in past lives, there's lots of great resources. You can find out more, and I always refer people to the excellent work of Dr. Brian Weiss. That's spelled W-E-I-S-S, Dr. Brian Weiss, and his excellent book, Many Lives, Many Masters. Okay, Wednesday, unity. I'm not imagining this. We've definitely had this in the past couple of weeks, and it talks about our spiritual connections to other people. So you can see how that might align with this here. Now, I think when I put this up last time, I explained two different meanings. One might be that the way you feel or what's showing up for you is directly being influenced by someone around you. And that could be their energy that you've taken on board or their conditioning. For example, you might be acting in a fear response that is something you've inherited. Or it could be your connection. I've lost my train of thought here. It could be that you need to, let me start that again. You need to work on yourself, as we all do, because that will have an impact on other people around you. Sometimes people will say to me, how can I get my partner to change or my kid to change? And of course, we can't. I mean, you don't have to be an energy healer to know that. But what we can do is work on ourselves, because other people will energetically respond to what we do. Not always, but sometimes. The work we do on ourselves inspires other people at a cognitive level. They can see, oh, this person's really looking after themselves. It does kind of give them implicitly permission to do that work themselves. But sometimes there's something going on subconsciously. They can energetically sense they feel different around you, that makes them respond differently. They might start honoring or, you know, actually holding the boundaries now. They can sense things are different. Anyway, Of course, the work we do is for ourselves primarily. It's not for other people, but there can be that impact. Thursday, awakening ancient wisdom. This looks powerful. The wording here is deep inner knowing is emerging within me. So, of course, so much of the work I do is around helping people access that inner knowledge. So often they'll say to me when I'm doing a card reading, oh, I already knew that, I just needed the confirmation. And of course you did, you're human, we have doubts. But it's so interesting to me how often, and I do this too, we struggle to believe what that inner knowledge is telling us. And, you know, if I'm working at a very deep level, if I still have this problem, guaranteed that other people will be too, who are not engaged in this stuff at the same level. So the work is very much about helping people connect with that. This card may be coming up to let you know that what your intuition is telling you is literally true. That could be it, that message. But it could also be encouraging you to take a step further on your spiritual journey, to do the course you've been thinking about, the reading you've been thinking about, or it could be anything like that. Just taking that step along the journey a bit more and really doing what you can to deepen your personal development and your spiritual development as well. And don't forget, if you get an intuitive message and you're just not sure what it is, ask for a sign. Tons of information about signs on my website, so I'm not going to delve into that now. We're up to Friday now. Yes. Sorry, I was just looking, I lost track of what day I was reading for. Numbers are hard sometimes. I don't think this is the right card deck actually. I'm going to go with the Goddess cards, which are always popular. We have a winner, White Tara, sensitivity. So this can be physical sensitivity if you're struggling with things like eczema or allergies or something like that. Sometimes that physical symptom can be related to an emotional irritation. So of course it's not always that straightforward. We have to take this with a grain of salt. But if you're not finding something physically that's triggering you, it might be a symptom of the emotional irritation or distress, and that might be something you need to work with a holistic healer on. Because for some of you, particularly those of you who are empaths, who are sensitive, who are on a spiritual journey, you will find the further you go down that path, the more your sensitivity heightens. For me, I remember I started on this, I'm like, I'm not giving up coffee, I'm not giving up drinking, I'm going to continue with my life. And then guess what? I've given up both those things. I'm not saying you have to. I'm just saying for me, my sensitivity increased to the level that I can't handle those level of stimulants. They really affect my energy. So there are other things as well. A lot of people who are empaths become vegetarian. They might cut out processed foods, all those sorts of things. And of course, definitely if you're an empath or you're on a spiritual path, I really recommend you gradually switch over your household cleaners and your beauty products to low tox products, because yeah, those toxins are really going to affect you. So anyway, I'm going down a rabbit hole. Coming back to emotional sensitivity, this is literally about making really good decisions about where you spend your time. Obviously with this physical distancing, some of us don't have this problem. You're maybe in certain parts of the world you are not being exposed to the people who may be triggering you, but if you're in a country like mine where there's a little bit more freedom, because the disease is under control, you might need to pay attention to this. Be really careful where you spend your time. Do not spend time with people out of obligation who really make you feel gross. You come home feeling completely drained and in a way that is not related to tiredness. You know the feeling, you'll know what I'm talking about. So be careful where you spend your time. I can't do crowds anymore. That's just the level of sensitivity I'm at. So you might find you feel the same way. If you can feel people's energy, stay away from them if you can, if it's really triggering you. And of course, shielding, absolute must to protect your energy. So that is Friday. Oh, sorry, I picked up a card deck. I could tell right away it was not right. So we're shuffling for Saturday now. Maybe I've got the wrong one again. Who knows? Third eye chakra. Well, we definitely had this one last week. Beautiful, beautiful picture. So as I explained, the third eye chakra as most of you will probably be aware, is a lot to do with the way we connect to our intuition. So that seems to be pretty big this week. But it's also about perception. Obviously sight, the way we see things, we have to make sure that we are seeing things clearly, not just seeing what we want to see. You know, I often hear cases where people have gone into romantic situations with people who have turned out to be sketchy, and they'll say, the signs were there, the red flags were there, I don't know why I ignored them. And usually the reason they ignored them is because their desire to be loved was stronger than their desire to protect themselves. And I'm not saying those two things are not compatible. We can still protect ourselves and be loved, obviously. But we can, if we have an underlying belief that we're not worthy of love, we will attract people who treat us like we're not worthy. This is very simplistic, of course. So, you know, that tends to mean that we can find ourselves in situations where we will choose to override those red flags because we feel this might be the best thing I get. Again, massive oversimplification. I'm just trying to give you guys examples of how I see this showing up in my work. And if that speaks to you, then please reach out to me for some energy healing, because there's something going on in your subconscious if that sort of patterning is happening for you. If you see red flags and you are choosing to override them, there's usually some sort of belief that you have to settle, that you can't expect anything better. That's just how men or women are. So that's really, I've gone down a romantic path with that one, but I think that's usually what I end up focusing on. So that's the example I've gone with. But there are lots of cases when our perception is clouded. To give you an example of a property one, just because that's what I've been looking at lately, if we really choose to be limited by news reports about a shortage of good houses or something like that, we're going to perceive there's not enough out there, and that means we'll start to attract that lack. So we have to be careful that we are seeing things as they really are, because even if there is indeed a shortage that's proven, we have to remember the universe is not playing by numbers. There's always, we're always going to find the one thing we need. We don't need a whole spectrum of selections. We just need that one thing, and that's what the universe will bring to us if we are working on anything that might block us from attracting that through. Again, massive oversimplification. Sunday enchantment. This is quite Piscean. I'm just thinking about the fact that we have a Pisces new moon coming through on Saturday, the 13th. And Pisces is that dreamy energy, that beautiful, artistic, creative energy. This is all about going way down that track with your, I was going to say left brain, but I can't remember which side, whichever is that creative side, and really indulging that. So it's a really good day to do something creative, to really let those daydreams carry your way. Now, I know what you're going to be thinking, how does that match with this? Because this card is not about getting carried away in daydreams. And the difference is going down the daydream track, but not losing sight of reality. We have to have a balance of both. Like anything in life, it's all about balance, right? And often we can't have a total balance, but doing the best we can. So I would say this is about doing something fun, doing something that doesn't match up with what you normally do. Yeah, those sorts of messages. Something spiritual would be good to do as well, because that seems to be coming up pretty strong here. Pisces is a very spiritual sign, so good day for a meditation, a walk in nature, yes, being by a beach, those sorts of things, and definitely a time for doing some creative work. So yeah, indulging our spirituality coming up really strong this week, and doing a little bit more work on our own healing in terms of that let the past go. So yeah, actually there's quite a few messages when I think about it that align with that spirituality theme. This one here obviously, but the third eye and honouring our sensitivity. Of course, society tells us sensitivity is a flaw, but we all know that it's actually a superpower. As long as we're protecting ourselves, not using that as a tool to I guess to lower our boundaries or to let people take advantage, because there is often a misbelief that caring for people means you've got to let them treat you however they want to, and that's just not how it works at all. We must honour boundaries at the same time, being an empath means you have to have boundaries and you have to be looking after yourself. It doesn't mean you're destined to be treated badly by people. Anyway, massive tangent there. I'm going to stop. Have a great week. Remember to check out each card on my Instagram at One Grounded Angel, and of course my Facebook page, also One Grounded Angel, and my website. If you want more information about the work I do or you want to reach out to me, is www.onegroundedangel.com. Thanks everybody. Have a good week.